My favorite, like, little meme is which came first, the chicken or the egg, and you see the chicken all smoking a cigarette. Well, I guess we answered that one.
Whoa, wake up, YPN in the morning, people. Christine, you want to do your let's get ready to rumble? No?
I'm good.
That's the best intro I've ever heard. That's fantastic, Rob.
Well, thank you. And speaking of which, we have Belinda Franco here, Christine Martin Taylor, and Penny Rivera. Thanks for joining the podcast. We're going to talk about not just YPN, but all the committees at GAAR, since we're sort of in that time of year, right? We're supposed to be choosing what committee you want to be on and showing your commitment for the rest of the year in 2024. We just elected some board of directors, right?
Yes.
And so if you haven't already seen that, get on GAAR.com and check out who was elected. It's good stuff. And if I may, I'll pass it off to Belinda, who may know most, or Christine, or somebody over there on that side, about what is a board of director.
So the board of directors, there's the board of directors for GAAR, and then there's the board of directors for SWMLS. And so a lot of people get those a little bit confused, but they really are two separate little entities. They're not so little, I guess. They're kind of a big deal. What is great about the board of directors is GAAR is kind of the umbrella. SWMLS is a for-profit, and GAAR is a not-for-profit. So that's kind of the what differentiates it. So the board of directors, like you said, we just had the election, so we have some new executive committee members. It includes the president, the president-elect, the vice president, and the treasurer, and then the board of directors themselves. And we have some new people, so that's fantastic. We have some new people on the executive committee for SWMLS as well.
Cool. And that's a brilliant distinction, too, the non-for-profit and for-profit. And for some of our viewers who maybe don't really know, what is the difference between a president-elect and a vice president? That may be confusing.
So for GAAR, and I believe SWMLS just made this change as well, but if you're president-elect, you were voted by membership to become president-elect, which means that you automatically become president the next year. So vice president, you would still have to run and put your name in the hat and go through the whole process of getting elected as president-elect, and then you would move up to president.
Cool. So president-elect is much like how a lot of the committees serve as vice chair moving into the chair position.
Absolutely. Okay. Very similar.
Cool. So do we want to jump into the other committees?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm actually still confused. So if you're the vice president, that doesn't mean you automatically move up to president.
Only for the United States of America. But at GAAR in New Mexico, yeah. Did I clear that right up for you?
Thank you.
So for GAAR and for SWMLS, if you are president-elect, you automatically become president. Vice president, you would have to run for president-elect for that next year. So vice president doesn't automatically move up.
Even though vice chair does.
Correct.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but not all committees do the whole vice chair to chair position, or is that just like a secretary to vice chair thing?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
Penny, would you know that answer?
I don't believe that it's standard for every single committee, but some committees, yes. Like I know for our YPN, for sure, that's...
It just always seems to be the default.
It's like that.
It's a smart
it's one of those
move.
things that it's like, yeah, it was written into some bylaw somewhere, and everyone just follows that where the chair or the vice chair goes.
Except
chair
from
position,
the executive level.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant model, though, because you get to learn. You have that year of kind of shadowing the chair, and then you kind of move into that role, and it's something to aspire to. And I think it's a great model.
Yeah, I agree. And I think even what GAAR does with what was coming up now on, okay, here's all the committees, and which one do you want to commit yourself to? Having a very official way of doing that is kind of cool. But at the same time, I know when I first started, volunteering here and at the affiliate committee, it didn't seem as official. I was just like, all right, let's see what this is about. And I just kind of came halfway through the year.
You put on your bow tie and you showed up.
Totally, yeah. I'm ready to help. But yeah, and I like the officialness of it, and I'm glad we're doing this to like get it out there so this content can just be out in the ether, indefinitely.
I think a lot of people don't realize that GAAR has so many committees.
Totally.
I think that they believe GAAR, you come, you pick up a lockbox and maybe get a free lunch if somebody's having lunch. But they don't realize that there's so much that happens within these walls. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. And like we're going to talk about here in a bit, I'm sure, talking about the Realtor Fund and everything that the affiliates do and et cetera, for every committee. It's so much more community oriented. That's what I love about GAAR.
Yeah, real estate community, but also the community as a whole for Albuquerque and the surrounding areas.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, who was going to talk about the Realtor Fund? Do we want to jump into that one?
Well, actually, I had a more important question.
Go ahead.
How many committees are there, Penny?
Who?
I believe there are 14, if I counted correctly. 11 of them are GAAR, which stands for Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, and 3 of them are Southwest MLS. There might be more out there floating around that I wasn't able to count, but I think 14 is the total.
That's a great distinction between the two because there are committees for both. So that's great to know. Okay. And thank you for saying realtor.
Oh, yeah, no, realtor, bad news. Don't do it.
Okay. You're a realtor, not a fake tour.
Realtor, yeah.
So then maybe we talk about the fact that there's standing committees and ad hoc committees?
Yeah, well, I mean, in 14 different committees, there's so much variety, there's so much out there that there's really something for everyone, not only realtors, but affiliates, appraisers, anyone who's interested, people from banks, people from...
Fake tours.
People from credit unions.
My apologies for that. Is that
very offensive?
I do apologize. I should really learn the difference.
I'll tell you. But continue.
Yeah, so standing committees are committees that are here year-round, kind of cycle back around. And there's some ad hoc committees that really are around just to serve a purpose, such as the GAAR Golf Tournament Committee, which you don't really need to have a committee all year because once the golf tournament is over, it's over. Same with the Run for the Zoo and what used to be a bowling committee meeting. And I know these sound like a ton of fun. They are. They're a ton of fun. But they also raise a lot of money for a lot of causes, and they're just incredible committees to be a part of when you see the impact that you can make. And they're ad hoc, so they're only around for about half a year. You get that done, and then
you're not
have all
committing
this
yourself.
Spare extra time to sell more houses or bank more bank stuff.
Well, and you're not committing yourself to a meeting every couple of weeks or a meeting every month. You know, for those ad hoc committees, like you said, they come in. They are a lot of fun because you're meeting different people. You're getting to network with people in the business, affiliates and realtors, and isn't it easier to do a deal with somebody that you're like, we're on a committee together? And
absolutely,
it really does make a difference to really get to meet people in our real estate family, and we're able to come together for a great purpose, like raising money for a great charity or something of that nature. But it's work, but it's also fun.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I think the audience for YPN is the newer realtors. And sometimes it's hard to explain to a new realtor, why do you want to hang out with other realtors, right? Because you're not networking to try and get a deal from them, but...
Plus their competition.
Right,
well,
absolutely.
And I've never thought of it as competition because the people that want to work with Penny are going to say, Penny Rivera is my realtor. People that want to work with Belinda, and it's, I think with lenders, I always will choose collaboration over competition every day. Let's collaborate. Let's get together. Let's figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what makes you stand apart from others. I think it's a great opportunity. So I can see where people think it's competition, but I'm big on let's collaborate. Let's make it fun.
Absolutely. Like taking the one Burke movement, and something that GAAR has been pushing for years since before that, I think is just like the harping on realtor community and, the community thing. I think that's a great message for sure. what's the next one? Ad hoc and standing committees. Okay, so yeah, continue on the
Ah,
ad.
nice.
In standing
are-
committees, you can actually sit. You don't have to stand the whole time.
Nobody told me that.
You just stood there the whole
She would have
time.
joined.
Standing committee.
Yeah. You're outstanding in your field.
Oh, I love that joke.
Ooh,
It's
that's
terrible.
A good one. That's a great one. I actually preferred to stand when I was the affiliate chair. I don't know, for some reason, like,
Like
Wait,
you
wait,
asserted
wait.
dominance.
it was
There's
like
a chair, but you
toast-
can't sit in it. You
Oh,
No,
have
you
to
have to
stand.
stand.
another
Oh,
Fabulous.
loading them up for you, folks.
Join
I
committees.
think it was.
Join us. We have
Yeah.
cookies.
Oh,
it
we
was
have cookies.
it was more of a Toastmasters thing. Like, you know, you get up and you do a thing, you stand for it. I feel like I'm more energetic when I stand, and that translates to the energy into the room.
Do you have a
But
standing
I don't know.
desk?
It was more like behind a podium, and a lot of times through COVID or the aftermath of it was like, yeah, I would just stand in front of the desks of people. But I don't know, that's just me. Maybe I prefer to stand on a standing committee.
Perfect.
Well, I'll tell you, what I like the most about committees, all the committees, is everybody's so uniquely different, and everybody brings a different perspective. Everybody has different ideas that you get to, kind of grow on. So, oh, you started here, but what if we did this? And then, you build on it. And that's my favorite part, because we end up with some really cool stuff because there's such a round view or a broad view of
And
the thing.
that's so important, because we have this little sample size of realtors who are, and affiliates and whatnot, that are representing this larger pool. So if everybody had the same beliefs, we're definitely not representing the entire pool of realtors. That's why it's so important to diversify.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of mastermind, right? Like you get together and you can come collectively with your ideas and serve a bigger purpose other than just our little businesses that we have, whether you're in lending or selling homes and helping buyers and sellers. I think that it really is so important to come together as a community and be able to collectively come up with these great ideas to help serve that purpose. So I think that that's really the big thing about committees and why it's so important, that I think people get into real estate and they kind of just keep their head down. And I hear so often that realtors feel like they're on an island by themselves. I hear that term a lot. They just feel like they're just on an island waiting for the next person to come in and they can say hello to. And I think that's such a sad perspective. As a business owner, we constantly are trying to find ways that we can not just find business, but to collectively serve our community. And I think that this is a great way to do that and not feel like you're so alone in this business that can be lonely.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's a
yeah,
good point.
totally. Yeah. Do we want to just go down the list of what's on GAAR's website?
We also have this nice list of questions.
Oh, you guys did.
Oh,
Well,
we're so good.
Nick's
well,
questions.
from seeing the questions, I noticed that a lot of
I'm ready to
them
rumble.
were fairly similar, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Like, I think these were Nick Purdy's questions, right? And then the ones you highlighted here were Jen, and I think
You don't want to
Christine
start with
here.
my
Jen's and
questions?
Christine's. I did
Yeah,
cross
Christine.
a couple out.
Would you-
Oh,
Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't
Is
know.
skating a
I
good
don't know.
workout?
Skating is a good workout, right, Penny?
What about roller derby?
It's a great workout, but we're here to talk about committees.
We
So
should
I
start
do
that
like
committee.
this question, though, about why did you decide to join a GAAR committee? Because there might be people that are on the fence that don't quite understand. And I know we're explaining them a little bit, but
Way to bring
what
us
brought
back
you,
together.
What brought you to join committees?
Well, great question, Penny. I think one of the big things for me is that idea of feeling like I want to do something bigger than myself. And I joined LEAP, was the very first committee I joined. I got to meet Christine. I got to meet other realtors. And I started realizing what LEAP did. It's Leadership Education Achievement Program. And I didn't know that when I joined. I just thought, leap. I'm going to leap into some fun. I'm going to leap into this committee and see what this is all about. And it was one of the committees that I joined as a newer realtor. And so every committee has different criteria. So you can be a realtor for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And so I think the important thing is to go on to GAAR.com and see what that criteria is, but get involved. So when I joined LEAP, I realized there's so much that they do. They organize and plan the gala. They decorate for the gala. They do the quarterly, monthly forums where they bring speakers in. And they also do a lot of like the CE credits and bringing the speakers in to get those CEs so you can get the certifications and designations.
Mm-hmm.
And so LEAP was something that was kind of my springboard where I leapt in with both feet, and I never looked back. And it just from there I started seeing all the other things that you could do. What about you, Christine?
I'm very selfish. So when I first joined GAAR, it was in 2011, and I joined the affiliate committee. And, the number one goal for me at that point was to get in front of as many realtors as I could. Name recognition was one of my major goals. And then I met Chris Canady. And she came in and she told us what the Realtor Fund was and why she started. And she just started it that year. And she basically, it's not that she crushed me, but she spoke to my heart. And
as she does.
She does.
If you've never met Chris Canady, meet her. She is a fantastic human.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
But she's brought so many people into the fold.
Right. Mm-hmm. So from there, I joined the Realtor Fund because it's the most important thing. Like, we need to be giving back to our community, all of us, whether we're realtors or lenders or just live in the community. The Realtor Fund is my favorite committee. And basically what it is it was an idea that Chris had dreamed up. And if we build up enough money as a group, then we can donate a certain dollar amount to local charities every year. We've gone through different cycles where, we were only able to give, $15,000.
Only
15,000. Right now, for comparison, we're up to $45,000, and soon we'll be at $60,000 a year. Yes. Our original goal was to build $1 million fund, so that way we could give away $45,000 a year.
Within like an 8-year period of time, correct?
10
years.
But we got there like around 7 or 8 years. So then we were like, hey, let's do $2 million, because then we can give more money away. And I think we're at 1.6 million right now. So it looks like we're probably ahead of time again, which is amazing. So all the fundraising that's done, whether it's the golf committee, the bowl-a-thon,
Battle of the Bands.
I loved Battle of the Bands. Whatever the fundraising is, it goes to that fund. And then and you really should join the Realtor Fund committee. We read like 40 to 50 applications a year. And I'm not kidding. I sit there bawling. We all do.
Yes.
Because these are real needs. We had the children who are being trafficked. We have Make a Difference Day coming up, which is going to be for, elderly people raising their family members who need support to do so from Silver Horizons.
And they were our grant recipient from last year for the Realtor Fund.
Right. And so every year it's extremely hard. We used to do 3 charities, and we would do, we would increment it for 3 years. But we reached out to them, and they said it would be more helpful if they could have the whole amount. So we went down to 1 charity a year. I don't know if the board's made a decision yet.
No, they're actually meeting on the 19th.
Okay.
And so we, as the Realtor Fund, we chose 3 out of 50. We had 50 applicants this year applying for that $45,000. And it is so hard because every single person, not just person, but group that applied are so worthwhile. And they're doing big things in our community. So it's very tough, but we're so rewarding. There was not a dry eye. I mean, even just thinking about it, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah. In the committee meeting, we were all crying.
So there are 3, and those 3 are going to meet before the board, and then the board has to make that decision of who's going to be the grant recipient for 2023, and that's announced at the annual meeting in December.
Right. And so the thing about it is, like, the realtor fund is not money for realtors. It's money by realtors, by affiliates, by anybody who wants to contribute. And after you contribute a certain dollar amount, you end up in the beautiful courtyard, your name, your company. It depends how you're donating and the dollar amount.
Your name is on a key, and they actually got an artist, a local artist, to design this key. My key is right next to Christine's. It's like we're key buddies.
We're key buddies. So that's where my heart is. Like, that is really why I come back. Like, that is so important. Like, I feel like we're making a real difference in our community. We also have another fund where we gave out money for like the Berlin fires.
Yes.
And what is that one called?
It's the Realtor Relief Fund.
The realtor. So again, it's not for realtors, it's by realtors to help the local community. So as you can see, the Realtor Fund is where my heart is. I'm also in LEAP. I joined LEAP because Chris and Morgan are on that committee, and I already love them. So I was like, I'll just go there. But then I learned that you get to plan the gala on LEAP committees. So then I was like, okay, I'm sold. It's my fault. It was all white. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
So
Thanks
anyhow.
for accepting that responsibility.
You're welcome.
Well, going back to the Realtor Fund, they also choose the Good Neighbor.
Oh, they do.
They choose the Good Neighbor Awards. They kind of absorbed the Bowl-a-thon.
We did.
So we're planning the Bowl-a-thon, which, shameless plug, is actually Saturday.
And I'm going to glow in the dark. See these nails?
Hey.
Okay. Sorry.
So the Realtor Fund, and I think you did a great job explaining that it's money from realtors and affiliates to go into a pool to help our community. So I think that's a great distinction as well. And realtors are so generous, and affiliates so generous.
Agreed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for clarifying that the Realtor Fund is not for realtors. It's
By
by
realtors.
realtors. That's important. I think people probably hear Realtor Fund and think, why am I donating to
Right.
realtors?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't need to donate to realtors.
Am I getting funds? No.
We put the fun in Realtor Fund.
That's a true story. Why did you guys?
Yeah, Penny.
Why did you volunteer?
Well, I had been part of the Santa Fe Association of Realtors for a few years before I even moved out to Albuquerque. So I was brand new here. I didn't know anybody except for everyone who was moving from Santa Fe for the, price difference. I didn't really know anybody, and I didn't know anything, and I was going through some tough times in my life. And when I do that, I throw myself into work. So naturally, I joined 7 committees.
Nice.
So you're a slacker.
I know. Why am I not on all 14? God.
Right.
I think I'm going to join the Realtor Fund next year.
Absolutely. I
That
think it
one
would be
sounds like a lot of
fantastic.
fun. You've convinced me.
Thank you.
I hope you've convinced them.
Please join.
So 5 of them are GAAR committees that I'm on. Well, 4 are GAAR, 1 is Southwest MLS, and then 2 are actually New Mexico Association of Realtor Association committees. So I'm not going to talk about those 2 because those are not relevant today. But when I only talk about 5, I don't want you to think I'm lying. Some of my favorites are these ad hoc committees, which means that they're kind of shorter term. They don't last all year. It's like maybe half the year and then you're done. But they raise money for the Realtor Fund, and that's the the golf tournament committee. And what we do there is we secure fundraising materials. Like, I think this year I went to Catopia Cafe and said, hi, can I have some stuff to raffle off? And they were so generous.
Did you take a cat out with you?
Almost.
Or 7?
There was one of those squish-faced cats, and he just stared right into my heart. But no more cats for me.
A squished-faced cat.
Yeah, so we secure like donations for raffles, and we sell raffle tickets and
Door
Mulligans.
prizes.
what are they called? Mulligans.
Mulligans.
Those are very popular.
I'd like to clarify, we sell door prize tickets.
Yes,
Oh,
door
yeah.
prize tickets.
We don't have raffles here, okay?
Raffles are illegal.
Oh, thank you. No, we don't raffle anything off.
No raffles.
Door prizes.
Okay?
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
You almost went to jail. You see that? We saved you.
It was the golf tournament committee that would have gone to jail, not just me. Y'all are coming with me.
You're taking them all down with you. That's what happens on a committee. All for one for all.
Teamwork.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And everyone at the golf tournament.
That's right.
You bought those door prize tickets.
That's legal.
Legal. Thank you. Run for the Zoo is another one that's kind of a shorter term ad hoc committee rather than a standing committee. That one's also incredible. We raise money. We keep people safe. We cheer them on. We get T-shirts.
If you've never done Run for the Zoo, you have to do it, even if you just walk or you volunteer.
Yeah.
One year I volunteered with my family, and we went through the flagger course where you actually, a trainer came into GAAR, and you had to pass a test to be a flagger, to hold flags, and, you know, to direct traffic and direct people. And just to see the runners and to see how much energy there is, and then you get to go into the zoo for free.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of,
so
you make a
much
whole day, and
fun.
you get up really early, but it's worth it. I'm not a morning person, but to be able to like get up for a great purpose and see that sunrise, I've maybe seen a handful of sunrises my whole life, but it's a beautiful day. It really is. It's a lot of fun. And again, you're with your realtor community, which is even better. And the more that you are involved, I'm sure you walk into a room, Penny, I see you from across the room, I'm like, Penny Rivera. And I think that that's so important. And you know how I feel about you. You know how I feel about you. You know, and I think that and that comes from doing things like this.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I played Eye of the Tiger on my phone for people.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, becoming a certified flagger also helps with, you know, weekend work, side jobs.
Right.
Okay?
I'm a flagger.
That's right. You can just jump out and direct traffic. You just need to carry a vest. Okay.
Well, when you go through the class, you know precisely which vest and which flag you need.
That's
and it's good for
right.
3 years.
Exactly.
So.
Second job. Just saying.
Well, I think a fun fact about the Run for the Zoo is the run itself is second only to the River of Lights on fundraising for the zoo. So I think it's super, super important. And without the volunteers, you know, essentially GAAR bringing people to those intersections to keep the runners safe, the run could possibly not even happen. So I think that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, we aren't the only, GAAR isn't the only volunteers for that, but I think we have like
200.
how many? It has to
A
be,
solid
like
chunk.
250 maybe of the volunteers out of maybe 500 are realtors or realtor associates.
Right. And that's not to say that the committee itself is the 200 some odd people we're talking about. The committee is the folks that help plan, put together those events and getting those volunteers. So we do like a call-a-thon on a certain day. There may or may not have been wine and cheese involved on said day of call-a-thon. So that's also another fun part of planning and stuff for the Run for the Zoo committee. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's work, but it's not really work when you're having a good time.
Yeah. With all the great, passionate people at GAAR. Like, let's highlight
You mean
that
GAAR rate people?
There you go.
I'm also part of the LEAP committee, which does plan the gala, and I kind of wanted to touch on the white theme. I know there was a lot of people who weren't too happy about that, but you know the best way to get your voice out there is to join the committees, talk about that, and our theme for next year is going to be great. You're going to love it.
Can you share it?
I was going to say.
Can I share it?
Will you share it?
No.
Scandal. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So why did you join?
Me?
Yeah, we didn't get to the end of that.
Similar selfish reasons, as you pointed out. As an affiliate at GAAR, it's pretty obvious that we're in it for realtor connections, right? That's how we get our business mostly. But it was mostly just I was riding on the coattails of Rachel Donovan. She was my mentor for a while, and
Love Rachel.
And she, another great, passionate person. You know, won the Good Neighbor Award, and she was also an affiliate committee chair. So, like, just joining behind somebody like that, and even if you don't have somebody like that in your life, you'll find them here at GAAR. Absolutely. Yeah, 1,000%. So I'm super glad and thankful that she introduced me to the affiliate committee, because that branched off into so many other things at GAAR, like the Run for the Zoo committee and all kinds of things. More importantly, my favorite part, I'll say, about any committee that I've chaired or just participated in is just the event planning. So if you're that person who likes to plan events, or like Penny said, have your voice heard at what happens where, all that stuff, and making things fun for other people. I'm going to say, say pretty much all the committees have at least one event that they do, right? So, YPN, that's sort of our shtick, is the networking. So we do all kinds of networking events throughout the year. The affiliate committee, granted, you kind of have to be an affiliate or somewhere close to.
I mean, if you're a realtor, we'd be cool with it.
I'm sure we'd be
join
happy
our
to
committee.
see you on our committee.
Well, I need to jump in because you both said you're selfish, and you both are two of the least selfish people I know. You give of your time and your talents so often, and money. You both are donating all the time. I want to make a great distinction that if to be an affiliate at GAAR, you're vetted by the GAAR staff, and then you're approved by the GAAR board. And it is not an easy process to go through. And to become an affiliate of GAAR means that you're a trusted advisor to the realtors. And so if you're needing somebody that you can know, and trust, and that you know that they're going to get back to the community and have that same heart of service, you always use a GAAR affiliate in your business. So that's super important.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I didn't want to toot our own horn over here.
Well,
No, I agree with that.
It's a huge,
especially coming in new.
It's a huge honor to be
trust.
connected to an affiliate. Yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't know what clients. I need a pest inspection. I needed this. I needed that. I don't know where to go. Boom. Now you
GAAR
do know where to
affiliate.
go.
Yeah.
And you know that they're licensed, bonded, that they have gone through the vetting process. They're approved by the board. It is not a selfish thing. You guys are giving of your time and talents. You guys could be out there, making money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I like to think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that as a realtor, seeing the affiliates and knowing like who's actually like faces out
1,000,000%.
doing the things,
yes,
are the ones that kind of do that next level volunteerism, the passion,
yes.
the quality of work.
You get to see somebody's personality as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
know
mine.
if you want to do business with them or not. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And to that note,
Very stoic.
we have a Blue Door affiliate, which
Thank
should
you for
be
bringing that
displayed on GAAR's website and kept up to date quite frequently, of who has checked like a lot of boxes, one of them being we have to serve on at least one of the committees throughout GAAR, whether it's ad hoc or not. And I think that's an important distinction as well. If you see a Blue Door, like they've, like Belinda said, been vetted in an extra way that other affiliates may not have been as well.
They're stepping up where other people aren't.
Absolutely.
I would definitely like to talk about that. So it's not just vetting. It's and it's not that we're just doing the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are 100% supporting your industry. I mean, maybe for all you know, we volunteer at our industry as well, but this is your industry. We're part of it, but we are supporting
You're a partner.
and we are partners, but we're supporting your initiatives, the directions your association wants to go. And not only with our time, our ideas, our energy, sometimes our money. But sometimes that's easy. It's easy for certain lenders who won't be named to throw money in, right? And that's the easiest thing. A Blue Door affiliate has gone to, 8 of the 12 meetings for the affiliates. They have to participate with like 3 other events throughout the year as a sponsor. We have a whole checklist. It's a huge ordeal to be a Blue Door affiliate. So these people are not just vetted affiliates. These people are here to support you. And it would be great if you support them back. That's totally the point of Blue Door affiliates.
It's the reciprocal relationship.
Right.
Reciprocity.
I love it.
It's a beautiful
and it's
thing.
not easy to stay at Blue Door. I'm quite certain that I might have even fallen off that list just over the last year of like not committing myself enough.
Your door is hanging off the hinges.
Yeah. There's an ethics course that we do, which I think is every other or every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
Yeah, every 3 years.
Well, and
but-
as realtor, we know that ethics piece, that's what sets us apart from just a licensee. That
Absolutely.
code of ethics, and to know that you guys go through that same process, that's very big. To have a partner in this business means everything. So as a realtor, and I'm sure Penny would agree, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but we see you, we see what you do, and we appreciate you. So thank you.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. I agree with that. Seeing you guys come around in the work that you do for the community all the time, it's unmatchable, and it's something special, and we do thank you for that.
Yeah. And I think everyone on a committee pretty much is right on the same boat.
I want to add, come to the bowl-a-thon. Okay. It is on Saturday, this Saturday. So whatever you're doing on Saturday, stop doing it. Okay. Show houses, write contracts. Come to bowl-a-thon. It's at
only for
5.
2 hours.
It's
2
2
hours.
hours. Even if you don't have a team, there's a bar.
I was going to
Okay.
say, are tickets sold out or no?
Tickets, no, tickets, the teams are sold out, but you can buy drink tickets. Those are not sold out.
Those
you
are.
can always
You
just
can show up in
come
a
hang out.
costume. You can.
There's a
right.
costume contest, whether you're part of a team or not.
That's always fun.
Please come. It's from 5 to 7. And guess what? We have the whole bowling alley. Like,
Which bowling alley?
Silva Lanes on Eubank.
Yeah, still. Like,
Gotta tell the
you-
people. Gotta
yeah,
let
normally
them know
we'll
where
do
to go.
normally we do the plugs at the end, but Gabe can chop it up to where it makes sense to put wherever it needs to go. But I absolutely want to keep doing that. I love
that is for the Realtor Fund.
because the bowl-a-thon is a great event.
It
Love
is. I'm excited. Sorry. I needed to tell you about
That's
that. The
fair.
Realtor Fund Committee did that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So we have more questions?
Yeah, what's the next
Well, we've
committee?
only really gone into one question. Oh no, we've done some more of these. What about what advice would you give to someone who is considering joining a GAAR committee? What are the benefits, rewards of getting actively involved?
I say if you're thinking about it, that means that there's a pull somewhere. There's a tug on your heart. So jump in, do it. You have nothing to lose. I think that if you're thinking about it, you need to find a Penny Rivera, find a Rob Hill, find somebody that you can kind of shadow and just learn from. Have some of those conversations. I'm sure if anybody walked up to you, you would share your experiences.
In a heartbeat.
I would do the same. People, will stop me and say, what have you done at GAAR? What does it mean for you? And I love those questions, and I'll always take that time. I know you would do the same. So if you're thinking about it, that means that's coming from someplace inside your heart. So follow your heart. Do it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was a little bit terrified when I joined 7 committees.
I can't even imagine you being scared. I just don't even imagine you sleep.
Aw. No, I have
With
to
her
have my
nighttime
8
videos.
hours or you don't want to hang around me. I don't know how I get 8 hours and do 7 committees and still sell houses. Well, and then that was the fear that I wasn't going to be able to maintain my roller derby, my actual money-making real estate sales, my side hustles that I like to do.
pointed at
But
me.
where there's a will, there's a way. Well, I
Halloween.
work at Spirit Halloween
Yeah.
once a week, and I thought of you 'cause you love
Halloween.
Spirit Halloween too. If you join a committee and it's too much for you, you can always back out. I promise that you probably won't want to. I thought that I might back out of one of the 7, thinking that it was too much, and no, all of them just have a hold on me. I adore the work that we do. I think it's very, very, very important, and I'm honored to be part of it.
And I think once you join one, you find that one kind of feeds into another, or you say, okay, I've been doing the LEAP for a couple of years, and now I kind of want to see the Southwest MLS side, and let's look at what that looks like and how that affects our industry. But I also think that the activity begets activity. So if you are immersing yourself into an activity that is real estate related, it's going to make you more aware of business that is out there. And they're, going back to competition over, or collaboration over competition, I think the big piece about that is there's enough business for all of us. There truly is. And so you can jump in where you feel that pull in your heart and make a difference in the way that you want to make a difference. You don't have to join 7. You can join just one. Right. You can join 1. You can join 2. You can hop from committee to committee every couple of years and see where you fit in. And I think that's really a beautiful thing. I joined LEAP, and then I saw the need and how much passion I had for the Realtor Fund. I had an opportunity to do leadership development, and that was something that I learned through LEAP. And then that got me involved in the board, and then that got me involved in all these other things that your eyes just get open to all the things that you can do. And it's just about finding what you want to do for these committees, and then it opens your eyes to even more. And that's when you're like, okay, I can do more. And I want to do more. But I think that that's a great distinction. I remember Kathy Colvin saying one time, she was a regional vice president a few years back, and that includes being accountable to NAR, and she's representing our Region 11, which is 5 states. And she said, I am so busy, but I have never had as good of a year in real estate as when I'm involved as much as I'm involved. And that's a beautiful thing. If you know Kathy Colvin, she's kind of like you. She's a firecracker, and she just works and gives back to our industry, and she doesn't run out of time.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think you guys make more time.
Yeah.
Time wizard.
You figure
Time wizard.
you figure it out.
Well,
Christine, what advice would you give?
well, thank you. The most committees I've ever been on at one time is 5.
That's still a lot.
And that
Ton.
was enough because I also have a full-time job doing the banking things, right, Penny?
Bank stuff.
The bank
Yeah.
stuff, okay? I do that
Important bank stuff.
It's very important.
Car loans through you.
No car loans. Only mortgage. Mortgage? Okay.
You're
So-
sorry. Cut that out.
Yeah,
You're a
chop
mortgage,
that.
you're a mortgage hustler.
I'm a mortgage. Oh, I'm going to sing. Okay, sorry. So, actually, the thing that I think is when you're evaluating your own career, the question for yourself is, how do you want to be viewed by everybody around you? What kind of professional do you want to be? I want to associate with highly esteemed professionals. So I can tell you that coming here, you will meet the people who are of the highest esteem in all ways. You know, you're going to meet lenders that are collaborative because lenders are not always collaborative. You know, there are lenders I've met here that I can call them and say, hey, what are your rates? And they'll tell me. Others won't. Collaboration is beautiful, even when it's with your competition, because you can make a difference in your industry. So I think it's amazing to network and have people to help you. I mean, maybe you work for a company that doesn't give you very good direction, and you come here and you meet 5, brokers, qualifying brokers, because they're all on committees, which there are a lot of qualifying brokers on these committees, and they'll be happy to help you, even if you don't work for them. So I think that it's important for the direction of your career. What do you want to look like to those around you? So that's what I would say.
That's a great perspective. Yeah, advice I would say is the bare minimum isn't that much. And what I mean by that is, like, if you just do one committee, right? So, like, pick the one that you're passionate about, and you're basically only committing yourself to like one meeting a month for the most part.
Unless you're doing 5 committees. Oh.
Right. But I mean, like, aside from some of the ad hoc committees we've talked about, most of the standing committees have just one meeting a month.
Sure.
And it's really not that hard to just show up. And that's literally, you just sit in a chair. You don't have to like have input if you don't want to.
It's true.
But it at least is a step in the right direction to be next level of your professionalism, like Christine said. And I think that is just something that should echo is like just a little bit of time. Because I know that's not everyone's a time wizard, and that's the hardest thing to do is be like, just putting a little piece of myself in my life in too many places and being stretched too thin. But just one meeting a month really isn't that bad, really isn't that hard. And a lot of times there's subcommittees to these committees as well. So if maybe you're passionate about one broad topic, but maybe you're just passionate about event planning, like I mentioned before, like, just be on that part of the event planning, have your 2 cents in on the event planning, and then take a step back for the rest of the year if you wanted, bare minimum, not that hard. That's my message.
And it's so rewarding. I really want to get back to that piece. I think a lot of times people think that they come in terrified, or they think, I don't have a voice, what do I have to offer? And maybe you want to go sit and observe a couple meetings. And a lot of these committees, you're able to go and just sit and be a part of and kind of hear. I don't think a lot of people realize that like the board of director meetings are open to membership. You can go in and just observe and hear what's going on. I think that's important too. You don't have to step up and be a chair or a vice chair. Go in and learn about these things and do some of the work behind the scenes, and I guarantee that you're going to want to do more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's at a certain point it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
Because of, like we've talked about so often, is the passion from a lot of people and a lot of committees. And one of them I'd like to highlight is the ABCD committee. And that one I feel particularly passionate about because it is helping not just push diversity and inclusion.
Do you
and
want to say
everything.
what ABCD stands for?
So if you're not familiar, they chose ABCD, advancing, belonging, community, and diversity. I believe it's D, because DEI got a little bit of a bad rap over the years, and they wanted to have a similar but different direction with it, if I remember correctly. And it's mostly just, we did the Pride Parade this last year, and I think they participated in Juneteenth. They had a table, but it's more than just that, right? It's more than just being out in the community and showing that realtors care, trying to let people know about the Realtor Fund and the fact that it's not for realtors. It's by realtors. I love that. Like, it's like a little bit of the FUBU brand back in the day.
Wow.
But not really. It's not
about
for,
that.
sorry. Rewind on that one. It's by realtors, not for realtors. But yeah, I think that one is a great one to be, even if you're just there, right? Like, just sit in the room in the ABCD, just one meeting even. You don't have to commit on, the checklist of things that GAAR sends out and saying, I'm going to do this committee. Just show up to one meeting and you'll see tears in people's eyes almost every meeting. Something hits somebody, hits the heartstrings at some point, and it's just like the energy in the room. It's like, we need to care about this thing. And a lot of it is policy too, that Charlotte Parsons, she's like really great at doing that. She's like, guys, this is super important to our industry, much less our community. And she was very good at pushing, we need to be in on this meeting at the city council for this or that. And it's a great way for personally me to be involved with that, because otherwise I wouldn't have paid attention, and it's a great way to pay attention where it matters.
We need more Charlotte Parsons in our life.
Yeah, and there absolutely are.
Yeah.
At GAAR, there's so many.
What I love about the ABCD committee is it really talks about like that sense of belonging, and everybody wants to be seen and heard and validated, and that is one where there's no qualifications to be on that committee. Just show up and be a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Oh yeah.
And I heard a story about that committee that like really lit me up. I think I'm going to be joining that one next year as well. To make a long story short, somebody was going to buy a house. This committee got together. They had read, or somebody had read, the HOA bylaws. And it had some racial discrimination that was not going to allow for this person to buy this house and live in this neighborhood. These HOA bylaws hadn't been read by who knows
in decades.
how long.
Right.
God, how long. So they actively, I think they went and got that changed and fixed.
Yeah, like definitely
That's a
some of the
difference that
efforts that we've talked about
we
is
can
trying
make.
to affect the stuff that like realtors abide by as well.
Yeah,
right?
the fair housing,
Yeah.
and the thing about those CCNRs and some of those bylaws.
right.
So fair housing came into play, and that supersedes anything that came before it. So,
Yeah.
but you can actually take those out of those covenants, and it's hard when you're working with these families and they get a copy of those, and you have to say like that's not how it is any longer, thank goodness, but that's how it was at one time. And it's a great reminder that, gosh, we got to do better as humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's, again, ABCD advocates for that.
Yes.
And they dig into those issues to try and fix things like
And
that.
that's a committee you don't have to have specific qualifications for. Just jump in and join.
Yeah, so many passionate people
Yeah.
who did just that, who are just
Right.
like, you know what, I heard about this thing, like, let's see what it's about, and they took it and ran with it because it's so
And it's
great.
a newer committee, and when they came together and they came to the board to have their committee pass through and get the board stamp of approval, they did a fantastic job. And one thing that I love about these committees, they all have a staff liaison. And so staff at GAAR jumps in, and so you don't just have buy-in from affiliates, you have buy-in from staff who jumps in and they work their tails off. And they need a round of applause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Oh.
could not do this without them.
Love
Without
the
GAAR
shout
staff,
out.
yeah,
Love
absolutely.
the shout out.
Yes.
Gabe in the back.
Yes, absolutely. GAAR staff is phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you come into this building, you need to say hello and thank them for the work that they do.
Yeah.
Just like I always thank Christine Marine Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we cover all the committees? Did we touch them all? What
We can
about
do a-
policy committee?
That's what I was going to say. We could do a quick
And
summary if you want.
compliance.
and grievance.
Well, one that people get confused a lot with is RPAC and RecPAC. So RecPAC is a committee that you're able to join. But let me just touch on the difference. So RPAC is a Realtor Political Action Committee. That has to do on the national level. That's NAR. So when people are talking RPAC, they're talking about how NAR provides money to candidates dealing with issues that affect us and our clients and home ownership rights. RecPAC is the real estate community political action committee, and that one is local. That is New Mexico. So RPAC, NAR, RecPAC is local. And so RecPAC does the same thing, but on a local level. So when you're giving money to these committees, and they're always asking for money, it's not going towards politicians. It's not going for politics. It's very much nonpartisan. It has to do with policy. Always policy over politics. Paul Wilson would say that all the time. It is policy over politics, and I'll never forget that. And that is something that I think is really important, a great distinction to make. So RecPAC, they do a lot of public policy development. One of the things that came up a few years back, and it was realtors through RecPAC that did this, and they have affected change in our community, having to do with the cap on the HOA fees. They were able to cap those fees at $250. You would have no idea that it was realtors and through RecPAC and that initiative that the money that was raised by that went to fight some of those things, and like the tax transfer laws and some of those things that just affect our industry. Realtors and RecPAC are directly fighting those things on our behalf. So again, it is not politics, it's not politicians, it is policy.
Yeah, not just the industry, right? Like talking about that one specifically, $250 can go a long way for some families, and that affects the community.
Well, and what was tough is that some of these HOAs, I mean, it was literally a push of a button, and they were charging upwards of $1,000 for this document. And we realized this is really affecting homeowners being able to sell or buy real estate. And we made a change.
That's awesome.
So I'm very proud of the work that realtors do. I think it is such great work. Any of these committees really do great work, and giving back is just the icing on the cake.
Right.
True.
And I love cake.
Did we talk about grievance committee? I'm just going to go down the list. If do you want to do like a summary?
Yes, go ahead. List them.
Grievance committee. What does that do?
They help with grievances. Go. Oh, no. Just kidding.
Lightning round.
Oh, yeah. They try to prevent things from going to court. So and Chris Kennedy is one of those people, and they listen to the dispute and try to work out the issue so you can stay. Yeah, they mediate, so you can stay out of court.
Well, a great distinction about grievance is that they get the information blind. They don't get the names of the realtors. They don't get the names. They just look at how this is affecting the code of ethics and if a violation has been made. And from there, if they find that there has been a grievance that has occurred and a violation has occurred or a possible violation has occurred, they pass that on. And then it's all done through professional standards. And professional standards is another committee. But then it goes from grievance and then it's heard by a panel of realtors that serve on that panel, which I know. Again, Chris Kennedy, if you don't know her, you should. She's really wonderful. But it's a committee made up of a bunch of people, and the liaison for that and professional standards is Melody Marr here at GAAR.
Amazing.
But that is a great distinction. The grievance committee, they don't know the people that are having a grievance brought against them. They don't know the names. It is truly, they go in blind. They are just looking to see if a violation or a possible violation has occurred.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we won. What do we win? Oh.
And if you're not already following along at home, you're going to go to GAAR.com and go to the menu at the top and get involved, I believe, is where we're looking at.
Get involved is the message that we want to share today. Get involved.
Yeah, it's got
my message is let's get ready to rumble. Okay,
a whole list of the committees there. So the professional standards committee is when you scroll on that, is it if Gabe shares the screen?
Oh.
Yeah. think.
Wow.
Maybe.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
fancy.
And I will say on the grievance committee and some of those professional standards, the qualifications are a little bit, you have to dig a little deeper. You have to be a Realtor member in good standing for many years. I believe it's 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And you have to be approved by the board to be on grievance. It's a lot of those things that that take place, but it's great work to be done. And I think a big piece for me wanting to be involved in things like that is it's a great way to find out how other people are getting into trouble and avoid those pitfalls.
Smart.
You know, it's amazing to see. Again, going back to the selfishly, right? Like selfishly, I want to know what other people are doing that are getting them into trouble. And as a qualifying broker, to be able to say, let's not do those things. And it's just great learning and a great way to train people in the right ways.
Education's amazing. It's not
Education.
selfish.
That's cool. Well, yeah, that's a great perspective too. Talking specifically, you're talking about the professional standards, right? Is like if you're not a part of YPN or if you're not a newer realtor, this is a great way you can have not just input here in the community and everything, but like you said, for your own brokerage. That's a great perspective.
And the way that we handle our own businesses too. I think that's important, how we conduct ourselves. Being a realtor and having that realtor there's that code of ethics, but we also, it is one of the only professions I know ever that you are held to a higher standard no matter what you do, what you put on Facebook, how you talk at your son's Little League game, how you conduct yourself at the grocery store. People look at you as you can be found in violation of the code of ethics in so many different ways. So to get educated and get involved in some of those committees, to find out some of those things, to dig a little deeper, it's pretty important.
Oh yeah, keep yourself out of trouble too.
Yes.
So the Realtor Fund, we definitely harped on that, I believe, a lot.
We're going back to the lightning round?
We're just going down the list.
Oh,
Realtor Fund
sorry.
is so important.
But yeah.
For realtors. No, it's by realtors.
Yeah, if you've learned nothing else. The GAAR golf tournament, I know Penny talked about it a bit.
Golf tournament.
Did you want to talk about it a little more?
No.
Have anything else to add about it?
I mean, it's a ton of fun. It sells out every year super quickly.
It is fun.
It was probably one of my favorite committees
Really?
this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking of the
was-
tournament itself.
Yeah, the tournament
you guys
itself
do
is
such
great.
a
The
good job.
tournament
Yeah.
itself was also
Yeah.
very fun.
I don't even like golf, but I love going to that
I
tournament.
got into golf because I found myself on the golf tournament committee and I didn't know anything about golf, so I learned real quick.
I just like
And,
watching golf
now
on
I
TV.
love it.
I will say that Nucinda historically has had the best tent on the golf course
Thank
every year, consistently.
Thank you so much.
Nucinda just
Oh.
steps up.
Yeah. And we do banking.
A lot of other great affiliates out there too on the golf.
Oh,
course.
absolutely.
Let's highlight
Yes.
that.
There are a lot of great affiliates. Absolutely. But nobody with a better tent than.
Yeah, our tent's pretty cool. So come to the next Nucinda tent at the next year's golf tournament.
Or join the golf tournament committee.
Oh, yeah. Do
Yes.
that more
if
importantly.
you want to have input on how that tournament runs.
Yes.
Run for the Zoo is the next on the list.
That's for the
and
zoo.
Love that one. There's a whole other side committee that if you didn't want anything to do with GAAR and you wanted to be involved in the Run for the Zoo, there is the Biopark, I believe. That has its own committee that puts other pieces to that
They
puzzle
do.
together. Because it's such a big thing, right? There's so many moving parts. But obviously, love to see you out on the committee because, and if more other things to highlight about all the committees in general, but I know for a fact with Run for the Zoo is like we need newer folks in because some folks who have been on these committees for years and years and years might want to step down at some point, right?
I want to retire.
Right.
And they don't feel like they can because nobody else wants to step up.
Exactly.
And just like anything, it's, you get out of it what you put into it.
1,000%. And like I love doing it, and I feel like I'm pretty sure I've been on the Run for the Zoo committee since I started in mortgages, and it's a lot of fun. But again, it's like, we need some more people, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Fresh blood.
step
You don't
up,
have to run.
be
You don't have to run. You can just stand there.
be a team
Or
be a
walk.
yeah.
Or you can walk.
Whatever works for
And
you.
a great way for this one in particular, we have team leads. They're all color coordinated, so everyone has their own sections on the course. And you could be a co-team lead just to see what it's about, see how the team leads do their thing.
But just to be clear, you have to be elected to be the lead.
For the Run for the Zoo, I don't know if you need to be elected, especially like I mentioned, if we are struggling for people on that committee. I know you're joking, but I'm expounding upon it. Like, for instance, if the yellow teams for some reason didn't have a team lead that year, we need people to step up to it. So it's just like, you don't get elected. You're just like,
that's what I did.
Boom, you're
Yellow
in.
team lead.
Exactly. Thanks, Penny,
Fresh
for being
blood.
the example for
but
that.
I was a
for
co-team lead. I had a friend with me on that one
Mm-hmm.
too. We both were responsible. Luckily, nothing crazy happened at our corner.
Yeah.
A girl did scrape her knee, but we got her all bandaged up. Took her back home. She was good. But safety is a big important aspect of that being part of the Run for the Zoo committee.
Yeah, they close down roads, and
Yeah.
you're guiding traffic, and you're guiding
There's
runners.
people wanting to drive through the runners, and
Yeah. You got to make sure
There's
they don't
some
run over
grumpy
the lost
yeah,
kids.
we work with the police. They help a lot.
What else?
Next one, Leap. Did you want to expound on any of that you haven't already touched on about that one?
I think LEAP is a great way to leap into leadership. I really, I can't say that enough. I think that's a great one. It's fun. You do make a difference, and you make a difference in all of these committees. Truly, you can't go wrong with any of them. But LEAP is, I would like to say, maybe a little more fun. You do a lot of fun things, not as controversial.
Unless it's in Blanc. Okay.
The
Sorry.
guy. It's okay. People forgive you.
I thought it was fun. I liked it.
I mean, I was offended by the white myself, but it was a great idea, and we looked great, and that's what matters.
It's a good change of pace.
Very true.
I thought it was
So
cool.
good.
The ABCD, Advanced Belonging Community and Diversity. I believe I said community, right? Before that one, I can't say enough good about it. It does so much, and it was so needed, I think.
And they're just getting started. And I love that you touched on the DEI. DEI is an NAR initiative that, and it's part of GAAR's core. They're what we have to have in our industry and our association.
Yep.
And so this checked all those boxes, and they're new, they're passionate, as you mentioned. Show up to their meetings and support them. It's a great committee.
Yeah. That's one thing I forgot earlier, and thank you for highlighting, was NAR has been doing this initiative for, I don't know how long, but for at least some time before GAAR was able to put a committee together for it. Affiliate committee. Do we want to touch on that one any more than we already have?
Affiliates. Oh, did I win?
So I think the biggest part to just really emphasize is that affiliates do so much for GAAR, and they partner with realtors and vice versa. It's, again, the law of reciprocity, that the more you give back, the more you're going to get back.
Yeah.
And you meet some fantastic humans.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I'd add would be the classification of what an affiliate is. It's not somebody who's super direct, like a lender or a home inspector who's involved with real estate. We have folks who do like closing gifts. Those, we do have a lot of like things that kind of are involved with real estate or could be potentially.
Locksmiths.
Right.
Totally.
And so you don't necessarily like have to be very directly integral to real estate to be on the affiliate committee.
We don't accept appraisers. We like you, though.
There's a whole appraisal committee that's next on the
they
list.
Accept us. They like us, though.
Thank you, Penny. Yeah, so appraisal committee, I know we see their little sandwich board out front every month that we have our affiliate committee, so I assume their meetings are like just before ours or something, or after. Do we want to highlight anything other than the fact that you have to be an appraiser to be on that, right?
But I think it's a very important committee as well, that I think New Mexico's changing somewhat. And I've just recently at GAAR, they put on an appraisal panel. And so there were 4 appraisers that came in, and GAAR put that on and brought them together. And we had a great turnout in the new event center. And they were talking about there's not enough appraisers in New Mexico. So I'm glad there's enough to put together a committee. So thank you, appraisers, for what you do.
Yeah, they're absolutely needed.
Yeah, appraisers are actually fun. They are fun. I mean, they're not realtors and they're not lenders. They've got their own spicy fun, but they're fun.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Christine, but I believe the affiliate committee is who put on that Q&A. with the appraisers?
We have, yes.
That's what-
I don't
yeah.
believe this most recent one was.
Oh,
but-
it wasn't? Okay.
But we have
But
in the
we've done-
past.
okay.
We actually had an appraiser, some appraisers come out and teach a CMA from an appraiser's perspective with CE, which was killer because they're like, well, this is why we do these adjustments. And you know, adjustments are depressing. Okay, let's not talk about appraisers.
So appraisal committee. If you're an appraiser, join the committee. A GAAR ambassador program, GAP.
I think GAP has been something that has been around for about 8 years, and it was brought together because so many people were talking about that the GAAR was just a building where you got a lockbox. And the thought behind that, Kelly Tinnen, who worked, she was a realtor and then became the staff here at GAAR. She started this, and then Adrian took over, and now it's being run by Ariel as a staff liaison. And again, wonderful people here at GAAR that step up to be these liaisons for these committees. And I think that the great thing about GAP is a GAAR ambassador program, and you're truly filling in the gap between what's happening at the association, what's happening in our industry, taking that back to your brokerage and sharing that information. So you really are that ambassador for our industry. So that's a really great committee where you don't have to have a qualification of any kind. You show up. All these different events that are happening here now that our event center is built out and ready to go, and our GAAR building is open to all our realtor members and affiliates. Come in and you'll see people wearing their GAP name tag, their GAP t-shirt, and they're just a wealth of knowledge, and most of the time they're super friendly.
And Keith will wear that awesome Gap blue jacket. He looks good. Just
Yeah,
thought
you get a
should know.
jacket if you join GAP.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you
really
do.
cool.
Pretty
Well,
spiffy.
and again, just like everything else, is like the more you do, the more you get out of it, and sometimes you get out a blue jacket.
You do. It's true. These are nice jackets, folks. So that's good.
Last but not least, actually, there's others, but YPN.
That's
What
the
are
last.
we even doing here, guys?
That's us.
You're putting the Y in YPN.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with what we already do, Young Professionals Networks, you don't have to be "quote unquote" young
They kick me out because I'm
to
old.
be to be much less on the committee, but just to participate in the events. There is a YPA, actually, fun fact, a Young Professionals of Albuquerque that does have an age limit.
Oh, I know. I accidentally joined them thinking that I was joining you guys. Quickly realized that that's not the place for me. YPN is the place for me.
Right.
Were you
And-
too old, Penny?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
27 is the new 85.
Oh.
Yeah.
And YPN, you touched on some events that are coming up. Is YPN hosting an event?
We are. The most recent one, or I should say next one coming up, is the Halloween event on the 28th. Check that out.
28th?
26, I believe.
I
was like, wait a second.
As I was. Sorry. Next Thursday, the 26th. So check that out on GAAR.com. Maybe Instagram. I hope Gabe is sharing it.
Find
to
it on
Instagram. We
Insta.
usually like to share our events during our committee meetings. So look out for that. Also, every third Friday of the month, we do a coffee networking meetup at Napoli, 10 a.m. Check that out.
Good coffee.
Pretty much right after we air the podcast. So
Going back to the Hallows Eve event on the 26th, there's a costume contest, and I've heard rumblings of realtors calling other realtors out for winning multiple years in a row or upping up their costumes this year, and there's some challenges going on.
Ooh.
So come out to check out some of those costumes. But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some people that are wanting to hold on to the longevity
title.
of best costume.
yeah, so if you're that person who has a full-on Boba Fett costume out there, freaking show up because you'll win.
Or if you show up as
Is it
Boba.
you?
Is that you?
No,
Well, that's the person who won last year was Boba.
Yeah.
I did a.
Not Boba Fett, just Boba Tea.
That's God. I loved that one. Christian did a great job. But I was a banana. Anyways, long pause. YPN can't
There's
say
a joke
enough
in there,
good
but I couldn't say any of them.
Can't say enough good about it. Aside from just supporting the Realtor Fund, YPN also supports the the RPAC initiatives as well. So come out to usually the Kentucky Derby event is our premier event to support that. and support the community. It's a lot of business to business networking as well. So you get people outside of just the realtor community that you might see at our networking events. So another reason to just show up to an event.
What's really cool too is if you buy a ticket for like the Kentucky Derby, that ticket that you just bought goes towards your RPAC donation for that year. And a lot of these events, you just buy a ticket and that money goes towards something. It's not just your price of admission. You're actually doing some good for your community as well, even if you're not just donating money to donate. A lot of these things have prizes that you can win, so you're getting something for just showing up sometimes.
Yeah, and thanks for highlighting that too. Yeah, absolutely. So the other GAAR committees next on the list are RECPAC. We just talked about it. The Community Political Action Committee. Do we want to highlight anything else on that, or stick with
That one
what
was
we already
RPAC,
talked
right?
about?
Yeah, RPAC and RECPAC.
RPAC, yeah. Linda did a great distinction of both, but there is a committee for it. There's also the Southwest MLS or SWMLS standing committees. So there's policy. Did we miss anything about that one?
I think that those are really important too, to see how the process goes. Southwest MLS it's so important to get involved in some of those things on how we do business as realtors. And it's really, maintaining and updating the Southwest MLS rules and regulations. That staff liaison is Richard Gibbons. We're so grateful to have Richard Gibbons as our MLS director. And there's so many good things that you can learn. The chair this year and vice chair, they have been involved in different committees over the years, and that's one where you're really looking at those policies on how we do business, and it's important. There's an appraiser on that committee, and that one you really get into the meat of how realtors do their businesses here in New Mexico.
Dope. The Compliance Committee.
Yeah, compliance really has to do with finding out how people are getting into trouble. And real estate, as realtors, we are absolutely a self-policing organization. We have to, from the coming soon rules and seeing a coming soon sign that doesn't have an active listing in MLS and it's been there for 2 weeks, nobody's going to do anything about that unless we
hold each other
accountable. Thank you, Penny.
And that is a committee that I'm part of as well. And I'm very happy to say that we do meet monthly. We haven't had anything to talk about. There has
Which
been
I think is great.
Awesome.
Really compliance issues at all. So that's a beautiful thing. Go
Good
realtors.
job, guys.
I know. That's
Keep on complying.
You did it.
Well, I think definitely, holding each other accountable, but I think sometimes it just means, picking up the phone and saying, hey, did you know that your remarks in MLS are not in compliance with fair housing? Or, you see a lot of times somebody will say it's walking distance to this park. And, you don't have to turn them into compliance for that. You can make a phone call. Or if you see that sign up that says coming soon and it's been there for a month, you can call and say, hey, what's going on with this property? And sometimes it's just a matter of just that phone call to the other realtor. But again, it's holding each other accountable, but it's also not being a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk. That's my compliance.
That's awesome.
That's another takeaway today.
Don't be a jerk. I think the last one here would be the Emerging Trends and Technology Committee.
That sounds pretty cool.
It is very cool. It's a very cool committee for Southwest MLS. They're always looking at different technology that affects our industry. One of the things that they took on was finding forewarn and keeping realtors safe. September, we just came out of Realtor Safety Month, but they're looking at those different things on how new MLS products can affect our industry and how they can make our jobs easier and better. And so if you're techie or you're interested in anything technology or emerging trends, I think this would be a great committee for you to get involved in.
Well, cool. I think that sums it all up, unless we had anything else that we missed.
Go to the bowl-a-thon.
I think my biggest takeaway, and if I could talk to any GAAR member, I'd say get involved.
True.
Jump in somewhere and show up, and you will not regret it.
No.
Never.
Yeah. It's always going to help the community in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And plus, you'll know more. You know, you can offer more assistance to your sellers and buyers, or even if you're in lending, like this really keeps you in the middle of your hands are in the middle of what's going on. So it's very worth it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially as a new member in any industry, right? You're looking for ways you can be smarter and confidently speak to what you're doing. And I think that was, for me at least, something that joining the affiliate committee helped with too. Yeah. All right.
Well, speaking of joining committees, I believe the deadline to fill out the application form is November 1st. So if you want to, if we've convinced you and educated you, hop on that. If you have any questions about them as well, feel free to call any of us. Our numbers are all over the internet.
Should hope. Or, the GAAR staff. I'm sure they can.
Yeah, GAAR staff will happily help you
get sorted out.
I assume.
It's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes they take stragglers after that point, but please sign up for a committee, please, and go to the bowl-a-thon.
Yeah. Anything else we'd like to plug?
Spirit Halloween. Oh, sorry.
All right. Well, I think that sums it up. There's a lot going on in October. Check out GAAR.com if we've missed anything.
Oh, I got one. Make a Difference Day.
Make a Difference Day.
That is October 28th.
There we go. We found the date.
I was thinking. Bowl-a-thon, Halloween,
YPN.
Turkey Day. No, that's next month.
That's not this month.
Make a Difference
There's a
Day
lot going on.
is an opportunity to join a group of realtors and affiliates that are going to help feed some families that are in need. We're going to be working at a food pantry. We're going to be working on site. Also, there's going to be 2 opportunities the same day, one at the food bank and also, and I don't remember exactly the food bank, but you can look at it on GAAR.com or you can sign up to help at one of the Silver Horizons handing out that food.
Right. So to be clear, we're not like giving them soup. We're giving them food they can take with them.
Correct.
Okay.
Groceries.
Perfect.
Cool. And I believe last thing I would like to plug is Bike Through Birthday Week is starting this Saturday, going through next week, and love to see people out there on their bikes.
What about tricycles?
It's a whole competition
No.
thing where you get points and it's kind of fun. You do team stuff, but if you didn't already sign up for that, just ride your bike this week.
All right.
Hence the bike bow tie. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. And until next time.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Penny.
Thanks.
Thanks, Christine.
Oh, have unpleasant dreams.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You creepy weirdo.